is up? We are back. Black in the building. Man, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Easter, everybody. What is going on? What is going on? We are back, Black. Oh, man, another day, another 10 cents. Hey. Another. Well, oh, what's going on, Taj? I see. Oh, you got two people. I know I got your text message. I got to get over there. Man, I've just been so busy. Man, shout out to everybody at the Court Plantation. I see Whoopo is off. Shout out to Whoopo, my nephew. This nigga's off. I should go over there and fuck with that nigga. Wendy, what is going on? We are tuning in. Stay on from the Court Plantation today. My family wasn't having it. It's Thanksgiving, damn it. Let's go, y'all. Man, what is going on? Man, for all y'all, I was at the Court Plantation today. Hey, a nigga. I was having a conversation today. A nigga was like this. You know how motherfuckers be like, Happy Thanksgiving. This is how I look at it, nigga. Like, nigga, what you mean Happy Thanksgiving? It'd be happy if I was at the house chilling. Count my reparations money that y'all niggas owe us. Shit. God damn. Can't stand motherfuckers like that, man. Happy Thanksgiving. Nigga, what the fuck you mean, nigga? But anyway, shout out to everybody that's handling business at the Court Plantation. If you're not, stay home. Eat you some good food. Man, I've been so busy and so much shit going on. Been up since, man, the crack of dawn. You know, nigga, gotta go make this money real quick. Gotta do what he gotta do. Gotta handle business. So shout out to all y'all that's out there. Shout out to the finessers. All the niggas at the Court Plantation. If you off, enjoy it today. Shout out to my nephew that's off. That nigga at the crib chilling too. Shout out to everybody that's making a way out of nowhere, as they would say. You know, trying to make things happen, whether you're behind the line or in front of the line. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that's learning about the different finesses that's taking place right now with people like Barack Obama. We gonna get into that shit. But before we do, shout out to everybody that's enjoying their day. I thought I'd hit y'all up. I'm not gonna be on here long. Look, like a preacher, I sound like a motherfucking preacher. You know how preachers be at the church and be like, they don't even open up their Bible and be like, I'm not gonna be on here long. And a nigga be talking for 2.5 hours. Shout out to everybody that, you know, had the little Thanksgiving prayer. I grew up, we had to go to church and pray and shit. Shout out to everybody that, hey, you better pray for niggas' food. You don't know what a nigga put. Nigga could be putting rat poison in your turkey and then serving it to everybody. It might not even be a real turkey. Be a pterodactyl or some bullshit, a falcon, and cooking a turkey. And the stuffing could be shit. So, you know what I'm saying? You better go to church and pray. You know what it is. Shout out to everybody that have a little bit of bread to go buy some food and enjoy their day. If you're drinking your Hennessy and smoke your little weed, go ahead and take a couple of puffs from me since I can't smoke. So go ahead and do what you gotta do and do what you need to do. And we gonna get into it right now. Hey, man. And before we do get into it, oh, yes. Now, black folk, shout out to all the black folk that's now starting to wake up and be like, hey, y'all motherfuckers, now y'all supposed to be in office. Why are y'all putting all these same motherfuckers that was in office before when Obama was here and then changed for niggas? Shout out to all my motherfuckers that's waking up and understanding what the fuck is really going on. I suggest you read The Fall of America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I suggest you read Black Labor, White Wealth by the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson. Rock, or No Acknowledgement of U.S., No Legacy for You Do. And I would cap it off by saying, go read that Black History Reader by the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson. Go check that out. Now we about to get into it. I want y'all to go check out Freedom Paper Company. Need some ass paper, go check out Freedom Paper Company. I don't have no Tahuti raw vitamins on me right now, but Go fuck with my aunt Raw Herbs. I fuck with them heavy. They made it right. Freedom Paper Company made it right. Hey man, support black businesses. MaatraHerbs.com. MAATRA.com. Hey, cut this shit down. Man. There's a lot of shit that's, that we need to discuss, but for one in particular, I'm about to get on Obama's clown ass. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, but we got to get on this motherfucker, man, because the motherfucker was just nigga-splaining. Just straight nigga-splaining all over the place. You don't know what he's saying. You don't know what he's talking about. I have to get on this. How Charlamagne the God kind of pressed him a little bit, so shout out to him. He pressed him basically he was just kind of like, let's just keep it a buck. Black folks' boat got a hole in it, so it's sinking. So what did you do specifically for black folk? And after that, I said, I want to watch the rest and play the audio on my YouTube page. But just before we even get into it, now niggas are starting to see that y'all beloved Barack Obama don't give a fuck about no niggas, and neither does Joe Biden, as he just said or entertained the thought of adding Rahm Emanuel to his cabinet. And if y'all know who Rahm Emanuel is, this is the same motherfucker who hid the goddamn footage of Laquan McDonald because he wanted to be reelected. But hey, they love black folk, right? Stop. Our fellow Native Black Americans, we need to wake up and understand that this is a game where the rules change constantly. They will change the goalposts. So as you're learning the rules, you need to learn more of the rules. You need to see what's going on. And as you see what's going on, you need to see the finesse down the line. Because if you don't see the finesse down the line, they're going to alligator roll you and take you on a fucking emotional roller coaster, as Vivian Green would say. So I think it's very imperative that we understand what the fuck is going on.
We are so happy here.
Let me cut that off. So as I'm waiting for this video to load up, we are definitely gonna get into it. And I just wanted to remind y'all that you need to read these books by Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. You need to read Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. Read The Fall of America by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You need to read, there's another book that I forgot, I'll talk about it. Read Jordan Maxwell's The Matrix of Power. You need to read these books. These books are very imperative that you read. It's gonna give you all the game that you need to know. So, we're gonna get into it. I like how he's promoting this book that I'm not gonna read, because I don't need to read no bullshit like that. But hey, we're gonna get into it, so let's see exactly what's going on. I'm about to play this audio of y'all beloved president.
Mountaintop, and I see the promised land, and I think that and I appreciate you guys having me. It's wonderful to see you again.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Now, we don't have much time, so let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
A Promised Land. Why is that the title for your book?
When I think about America, I think about both where we've been, where we might be going. I'm reminded of Dr. King's speech.
Notice every black politician, every white politician, the safe ground is MLK. They never bring up Malcolm X. They never bring up Marcus Garvey. They don't bring up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They don't bring up the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. They don't bring up Denmark Vesey. They don't bring up Nat Turner. They don't bring up Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Dirty Bookman, Mackendall. They don't bring up any of those people. Toussaint L'Ouverture. They don't bring up them. You know what they bring up? Martin Luther King. I Have a Dream, which turns into I Have a Seams, because it seems like a motherfucking clown and so obvious that that's their go-to. But it's so funny that they go to Martin Luther King, but nobody talks how the government assassinated him and killed him. Nobody talks about that. So you want to talk about Martin Luther King? You want to talk about our country and our beloved presidents and all this other bullshit and the FBI and the CIA? Then y'all need to read this book, The Burglary. I've been talking about this book for I don't know how long. Go read this book. It's the book of Eli, but go read it. Very, very good book. Talks about your boy J. Edgar Hoover and his plan for COINTELPRO and how he was assassinating black folks and going and infiltrating, as he did a good job of separating Malcolm from the Nation of Islam. So You guys got to watch what the fuck is going on, for real. And watch these trickery words and shit. I'm going to skim through the interview, but I just want y'all to hear this fuckery that he's talking about.
Yeah, the famous speech he gave shortly before he got shot about, I might not get there with you, but I've been to the mountaintop and I see the promised land. And I think that idea that we're not where we need to be, but we still act on the faith and the belief that we can get there. That's how I think about.
So who's we? The United States of America Incorporated, all people or black folk? Because black folk are 1,000 kilometers behind the line. When we say another 10 cents, that's for black folks. It's another $250 for white folk. So I don't understand why, but I like how they group it all together. Let's fast forward.
The question is, if the game is rigged, secondary to conquest.
There, let's see.
Racism is gone or inequality is gone, but we can continually try to do better. And that was the spirit that I wanted to communicate in the book.
You know, you say in the preface that America's ideals have always been secondary to conquest and subjugation, a racial caste system, and that to pretend otherwise is to be complicit in a game that was rigged from the start. So my question is, if the game is rigged and we know the fight is fixed, how could black people ever believe in this idea of America being a promised land?
Explain
what I
that.
say in the preface is that that's one argument, and that's how.
Deflection. That's one argument. The game is rigged. White supremacists wrote every policy and law. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Madison. These were white supremacists that wrote the laws to keep us behind the line. So the game is rigged. But that's one perspective. Get the fuck out of here.
Some people feel, and obviously there's evidence of that. Slavery, Jim Crow, Native Americans being.
You notice he brought up slavery, Jim Crow, and then followed it with Native Americans. They always want to talk about the Native Americans or the so-called Native Americans. But if you read the book, They Came for Columbus, we were already here. So how could the Native Americans be here before us? You know, and then y'all need to understand the Native Americans were named by Cristobal Colon because he was trying to get to India. So he just named them Indians. But he didn't know where the fuck he was going. He needed the Moors to get him over here to the United States of America Incorporated because he got lost the first time. He wrote it down. Then when they got here, he didn't know how to cultivate the land, so they started eating people and become cannibals. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't know their history. So niggas just go off what the dominant white society tells them.
Driven from their lands. On the other hand, what we also have stories of is abolition and the civil rights movement and folks fighting for their freedom, and each generation passing on a legacy of struggle that results in something a little bit better. And I think that what I try to do in the book as a whole is paint an honest picture about how there's a gap between the myth of America and the reality of America. We'll never completely close that gap.
So basically, he telling us we fucked. We're never gonna get. You ain't gonna get shit. So I'm just letting you know. They sent me here to tell y'all niggas you ain't getting shit.
But if we put in the effort, if we stay focused, if we reach out, then we can get closer to the ideal. And one of the lessons I try to teach in the book about politics is it's never going to be perfect.
It's never going to be perfect because you are a part of the problem. You are a part of this system. You are an agent that is a part of the system of racism, white supremacy. You're not trying to change it. You're trying to maintain and make it comfortable for you and your family and your loved ones, like most black folk. That's why when it comes down to it, when you're at the corporate plantation, you're not gonna turn down a raise that they give you and say, well, you need to give everyone a raise. No, you're not gonna refuse the raise. No, you're gonna take it, and that's fine. But when you are aspiring to be something bigger than working at the corporate plantation, you need to understand what you're getting yourselves involved in. It's like black folk wanting to be police officers. I get it that black people want to be police officers to change the system from the inside, but that's a collaborative and cooperative effort from other people, especially black folk. So it's a team sport. Racism is a team sport. You know, sometimes it's good when you're having conversations and dialogue with dominant white society people. Just let them talk. Don't interject. Don't be oppositional. Don't be contrarian. Not because you're scared, because you want them to tell you how they really feel. I was having a conversation, and a white boy was like, because everyone's racist. There's black people that's racist. I just let them talk. And after a while, he stopped talking because he realized, damn, this motherfucker just let me talk. Yeah, I'm just letting you talk because I can tell you're not well-versed in history. You don't understand how documented history plays a big role in black folks' plight. And you don't want to know because you're white, so it doesn't affect you either way. But that comes from wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and then all I get and understand, that's what the Bible teaches. So you should know, of all people, don't get into no bickering match with white folk. Just let them think that their Pythagorean theorem, no pun intended, or their thesis statement, or their knowledge that they've obtained, just let them think it's right. My bad, not white, but let them think it's right. Because ain't no need you arguing with them. Here, let me read something. Here, let's read. It's a MLK soul snatching tactic for these guys. They are using his energy like NyQuil for putting folks to sleep. Too many of us are realizing shit just saying facts. That's a fact right there, man. Reason why that's a fact, because everybody go to Martin Luther King. That's everybody's. That's how they do. Martin Luther King. That's what they do every time. Let's see what the fuck else this motherfucker getting ready to say.
The fact is, we live in a big country with a lot of different points of view. We've got hundreds of years of oppression and discrimination that have to be overcome. We've got, the natural human impulses that you see around the world: greed, power, folks trying to get over on others. But you also see kindness, courage, folks looking out for
Deflecting, and alligator rolling.
each other, and a lot of goodness along with the bad. And in politics, the job is not to think that you're ever going to eliminate all the bad. It's can you empower the good to make more kids get a better education, to make sure that
Education, here we go. Talking about education. Every time we education, poverty, deflection.
some folks have better health care, to make sure that there's less discrimination.
And healthcare. We've been talking about healthcare for the last 20-some years. It's always healthcare. It's never nothing else. It's always healthcare. Stop. Let's move the fuck on. Let's move this. Let's get to the next. Get to the next motherfucking question, man. Cause I don't want to hear this shit. Let's see. Let's speed this up. Cause this motherfucker's just running his mouth. And it's a stalling tactic. It's a stalling tactic to take you on. Let's get to Charlemagne's next question. God damn.
At the time, I didn't think it was particularly controversial.
You talk about that in the Good Fight chapter, the Henry Louis Gates situation, but you also say that wouldn't have happened to a white person in the same situation. But at the same time, you said you wish you had have said that then, but you didn't. So when we bite our tongue in situations like that, who are we trying to protect?
Well, look. One of the things that I try to communicate in this book is what's the best way to expand folks' understanding.
Stop. Basically, make white people feel comfortable when we are oppositional of what they think. So you have to make them feel comfortable. You can't just straight out say it. That's all he's saying. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Get to the next motherfucking question. Taking all day to answer one question, and you using a stalling tactic. Stop.
You also talk about how every decision has to be approved by your wife. One thing that I love about the book is
you don't have to worry about me ever reading the book. Sorry. That's just me. So you can call me ignorant, you can call me whatever you want. Nah, I don't got time to be reading no book on no non-foundational black American who got in office and didn't even say black one time, never did nothing for black folk, was still behind the line, is racist as fuck. Racism, white supremacy is not going anywhere. You didn't do anything to try to replace the system and establish the system of justice. You didn't do anything with all those killings that took place when you were in office. You promoted basically the man who was the architect behind the 94 crime bill. He hid behind your blackness, and then you used your blackness to get him back into the door to be the president and made Donald Trump the big bad boogeyman when y'all all the same. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Stop.
Ever take your frustrations from work home and
No, don't want to hear it. Get to the next question. Y'all asking, I don't give a fuck about none of that. Let's get to the next question.
That you were in a long-term contest, and there were going to be ups and downs at any given time, but that if you kept your eye on the ball, that you know, sooner or later you could prevail.
You know, in the Yes We Can chapter, you discuss how you were frustrated with the constant need to soften for white folks' benefit the blunt truths about race in this country. Do you still feel the need to do that after the last 4 years we witnessed?
Well, I think we're all a little bit more open and aware. And one of the things that I was
Open and look, for all y'all black folk that don't know that racism and white supremacy exist, and whether you vote for Biden and your white boss vote for Biden, that does not stop them from practicing racism. That does not stop them from being on code with their white racist counterparts. As Neely Fuller Jr. says, when you see two white people arguing, they're not arguing to replace the system of racism and white supremacy. They're just two white people arguing. So don't take a side because those are just two white people arguing. They're not talking about replacing the system of racism, white supremacy, and establishing a system of justice. They're just arguing. So I don't know why we sitting up here acting like clueless, like, yeah, you know, racism, you know, yeah, after the last 4 years, you know, we really know. Man, stop. Stop. Next. I don't even want to hear, see, nigga-splaining. I want to hear this shit. Get to the next motherfucking thing. That's why I'm skimming new to this shit, man. Because I want to hear that.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And
Or if they're smart, they will listen and make adjustments.
yes,
But the woman has to be allowed to be able to speak that truth to power.
of course, but you know, listen.
you listen, you part of the book you talk about that. That's what I was going to ask you next.
Right.
Right, you talk about the women on your team and them having issues with men interrupting them constantly and taking their ideas and making it their own.
Oh, look, man, stop it. See, this is another thing. No diss to the Breakfast Club, but they talking about gender issues. That don't got shit to do with the overall objective and goal is to replace the system of racism and white supremacy and establish a system of justice, get reparations for black folks, foundational black Americans that are deserving and as owed a debt. Let me tell you something. My last name, it damn for sure ain't Mobutu. I'll just tell you that. So you can trace, I ain't worried about tracing my lineage. Cause I know I ain't no motherfucking immigrant. All you gotta do is just look at my motherfucking last name, and I can tell you it matches the same last name of one of the presidents. So I'll tell you that much. And I don't need to look no further. So it's all gravy train to me. So I ain't worried about no gender and all that. They trying to deflect and alligator roll you to some other shit, man. Fuck all that. Why don't y'all ask this motherfucker, hey man, you was in office for 8 years, it felt like you didn't want to say shit about black folk. Like, what's going on, man? Talking about women and women in your cabinet, how you being interrupted by bitches, because the bitch was probably talking too much. God damn, that's why. Fuck out of here, man. God damn. Motherfuckers asking questions that don't matter. And I get it, because you know, you're trying to do your thing, but god damn, man, that get to the point where you're like, okay, when you gonna ask the real shit? That's why I'm skimming through this shit, man, because I'm like, man, I want to ask the real motherfucking questions. Because, man, this is the shit that means the most. The deflection and how you alligator rolling out of the bullshit. So let's get to it.
Something that is done right away. It's going to take some time.
But we heard some rumors in this book, too.
Wait a minute. How different? Because, you know, when I hear that, I'm like, damn, it feels like we're catering to white racists all the time. So I wonder how different would the Dem strategy be if we lived in a one-man, one-vote society with no electoral college?
Oh, I think that would help. I mean, look, let's take a simple example like the Senate. So Wyoming, which has about 500,000 people, has the same number of senators as California with 33 million people, right? So what that means is that the U.S. Senate basically is hugely skewed towards some of these lower population.
No way. We know it's a bunch of bullshit. Nigga, stop. Stop with the bullshit. Next. I hear that shit, man. Nigga explaining and shit, man. I don't want to hear that. Let's see. Let's go to the next one.
The blessings we received from our own, that is as much as anything what helped sustain us. It is something we never took for granted, and we were always grateful.
So what? One last question: what do Democrats owe Black people specifically? Especially after what we just did in this past election.
Well, I think that Democrats and Republicans and America owe Black folks the same thing that all people are owed, which is justice and fairness.
See, don't try to see. That's the trickery that I'm talking about. They owe Black people what they owe all people. Justice. No. All people didn't build this country. All people don't come from slaves. All people are not descendants of slaves who built this country for free. All people are not who Harriet Washington is talking about in medical apartheid. Go read that book, Medical Apartheid, and see all the vile bullshit that John Sims, that goddamn white supremacist, was doing to Black folk. Everybody's not a descendant of Henrietta Lacks, who they were using her stem cells and curing white people all over the world. So stop all that bullshit. Stop categorizing us and liking everybody's struggle to our struggle. Look, first of all, everybody's struggle is not our struggle. So stop with the bullshit. See, that's the problem, man. I'd have been like, yeah, but I'm talking about specifically for Black people. So what did they do? What are they owed after us voting them in? What are they owe? What is owed to us?
The difference is that for Black folks, that justice has been deferred and denied for too long, or it's been half-baked.
Like what you did.
Insufficient. We've never done a full reckoning of what was part of the essential history and building of this country. And I think in concrete terms, I don't want to overstate what Joe and Kamala are going to be able to accomplish in this congressional environment with that much resistance, because they're going to be in a position that's probably even tougher than the one that I came in. But what I can say is, I think at the very minimum, everything they put forward, from jobs programs to small business loans to education to college debt issues, that they have to be mindful that the African-American community put faith in them to hear them.
So you niggas playing it. You niggas playing it. That's basically what you're doing. You're niggas playing it.
Respect out of politicians.
Is there a morally correct way to do what Trump did?
Which is?
As far as catering to his base, doing what he felt was best for his folks. Is there a morally correct way to do that?
Get more votes.
Man,
the truth
nigga,
of the matter
what?
is, actually, Trump hasn't gotten a lot. He's torn some stuff down. He hasn't. There's no law
Oh
that he's
my
passed.
God. See, this is the shit that I'm talking about. That's the shit that I'm talking about. Stop. Man, I'm trying to find that part where Charlamagne was like, oh, let's just get it straight. Our boat has a hole in it. So what do you think? He just, basically all he did was niggas playing the whole time. That's all he did to me. That's all he did. That's all he's ever gonna do. So that's your Thanksgiving bullshit. Motherfucker had y'all thinking that he was gonna say something. He didn't want to say too much because he didn't want to put a whole bunch of pressure on Kamala and motherfucking Joe. 94 Crime Bill Joe. Look, let me tell y'all something, man. I just thought I would play that so y'all can see exactly the mind frame of what they're thinking about us. How you gonna liken every other racial group's struggle to black folk? How you gonna say, well, the Democratic Party and the Republicans owe black people what they owe everybody? Justice. Yeah, but justice has been shoot first, question later. Breonna Taylor. I'm not even gonna name all those people that died. Why is it we're always every other racial group's punching bag? But then when it comes to black folk, it's and then that's why so many dominant society white folk could tell you, well, black people are racist too, and they'll say this shit and think that what they say is the law. And think what they talk about is the law. Like I told you when I had to educate this person, I say, hey bro, the Pythagorean theorem, he did not create that. He stole that. He didn't even know what math was. He had to wait 20, 30 years to get into the mystery schools in Egypt, in ancient Kemet. And when it was ancient Kemet, it was black folk, not Arabs. But they want to Arabanize Egypt. They want to do anything they can to take away from black folk. So y'all need to understand, it is us who built this country. That's why I always refer to medical apartheid when those slave masters was coming on the porch and all the black slaves was singing and fucking picking the cotton, doing everything, but all the white people was dying. They're like, how the fuck is we dying? They was dying from yellow fever. But black folk wasn't dying from yellow fever. You know why? Because of this melanin. We've been kissed by the sun, melanin. That's what activates when you're in the sun. That's why we can endure harsh conditions. As Dr. Claude Anderson teaches us, we are a special people. Remember that. So on Thanksgiving, I'll be giving all the props and praise to these so-called Native Americans as they got their fucking reparations. But when's the last time they shared any of that shit with you? With these casinos and reservations, all this other shit, and all these laws and intricate details and bullshit that they got going on, but they ain't share shit with black folk. One. Two, if y'all don't know by now, the so-called Native Americans were a part of the coalition of catching slaves and taking them back to the white supremacists too. So the so-called Native Americans are not absolved of any wrongdoing against black folk. I just thought I'd put that in there since it is Thanksgiving. Hey man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. I got to go. I got plenty of shit to do. I'm running behind as it is. I appreciate everybody listening. Hey man, if you're dealing with a Sambo or you're dealing with a tell 'em about the gun line boss or a mammy, guilty nigga, I'm out. Peace.